Boom! Got something really exciting to talk about. The latest iteration of my Unbound Velo carbon wheels. I'm very, very excited about it because these are the 45s, the road version, and I've been working with this manufacturer now for just over 17 months, going backwards and forwards to get to this point where I can now start telling everybody about my wheels, and hopefully selling some to some of you people out there. I guess to start from the very beginning, one of the reasons why I went down this track is I was watching as carbon wheels were getting more and more aerodynamic. Straight line speed was going out of the, and I was excited. It was like, woo, how fast are these wheels? Ceramic bearings were coming out, carbon spokes were coming out, we're seeing some really cool stuff. But the thing that we also saw with, the inclusion of disc brakes is the amount of front wheel washouts. When you see the front wheel go out from underneath the rider and they crash on descents and on cornering on wet roads and that sort of stuff, that has increased drastically. It was a Swiss or Swedish research document, even in the Pro Tour in 2023, the increase in front wheel washouts at pro level had increased. And I got to thinking about why that's happening, and why is it just a drop in skill? Is it because the modulation through the lever on disc brakes is not as, you don't have to squeeze as hard to get a front wheel lock up and causing a front wheel washout? And then if that is the case, what can we do to change it? And the thing that I devised was that we were going wider and wider on the internal, and making it so the tire would come straight up from the wheel. Increasing aerodynamics, right? So the tire would come straight up and then curve over at the top, yeah? And so I looked at that and said, well, what I want to do is I want to do still quite a wide wheel, yeah, but you'll notice how the walls of my my dual-walled rims means that the bead is not ridiculously wide. It's still wider than yesteryear, but we're seeing rims now that are 23 and 25 mil wide on the inside. My rims are 20 mils wide on the inside, meaning that the beads are slightly narrower together than most of the aero wheels out there. They're the same width, but the bead itself is slightly narrower. And what that does is changes the shape of a tire to more of a curve, right? And so I've been nicknaming it grip zone technology, because what that does is it forces the tire to have a much better arc for cornering. So as you tip into the corner, you're getting more traction, and you'll have more contact point on the road, and your tire has more stability as you tip it into corners. So for crit racing, gravel, I've got gravel set of wheels as these called the Grads, the GRAD, Grad, and then I've got road versions of these wheels for crit racing, descending, and that sort of stuff. Super lightweight. I also then went looking for carbon spoke provider that would do something really special, which was a military grade carbon bladed spoke, that's what I'm running in these wheels. So these are carbon spokes, amazing. And then I've got this super cool hub with my branding all over it, wherever the branding is. Where is it? There it is. Look at that, Unbound Velo. Yow! Skeleton form, so super lightweight. So these are 45s and they weigh 1285 grams without obviously cassette and rotors and that sort of stuff. The other thing that I then did is I wanted exposed nipples. So exposed nipples so that tension can be adjusted. Why did I want to do that? Well, I then wanted to look at the tensioning of the spokes and the rigidity of the wheel makes a huge difference to how they behave. And so if you're a really super confident rider and you're a very skilled rider, you can have a very torsionally strong wheel. That means that that there's zero flex, and so when you're buying our wheels, you have to choose what type of rider you are, and I've split that into 3 types: a flow rider, a curve master, or an apex seeker. Had a bit of fun with it. It's me, for crying out loud. What else was I going to do? But so your flow rider is someone who is a confident but composed, just wants to glide through corners, doesn't want to really dip it in too hard, and just wants fluidity, and wants, I guess, a little bit risk averse, and wants a really well controlled wheel rather than a super fast cornering wheel. But we'll be able to be really confident tipping it into corners, knowing that the wheel's going to stay nice and firm, but not, flip out from underneath them. The Curve Master is that skilled and more confident and more poised and more at tipping it in, and really looking for someone who's well versed at managing the speed and position and the braking coming into the corner and coming around, but still is not going to be like knee out right down on the ground. And then of course the Apex Seeker is that guy or girl who can just absolutely drill it, knows when to get on the brakes, get off the brakes, and tip in as hard as they can. So there's one of those three things you need to choose when you purchase the wheels. And then I ask also for your weight. And so the wheels are then made to your specifications, your riding style and your weight. Meaning that it's basically a tailor-made, super lightweight carbon wheel. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I've been riding them. I'm super happy with them. As I said, I've got a gravel version as well. I've got a 45, I've got a 65, and I do also done a set of 80s for triathlon, all with this same grip zone technology for tyre shape and cornering, but still super aero, and then super lightweight, ceramic bearings, full warranty. And at the moment I'm selling these wheels with the option of Golfer rotors, so super lightweight Golfer rotors. Golfer, I think, make one of the best rotors on the market, and matching Pirelli P0 race tubeless tyres, and a titanium anodized tubeless valve, and pretty sick. So like for a complete wheel set. So basically you just need to put whack your cassette on there, and away you go. So that's how I'm selling them. They're $3,000 for a wheel set, $299.99, and I think it's a ridiculous value for money when you consider what you're getting. It's probably, well, I did it basically. You're getting about $4,295 worth of value for $2,999, and they're for sale now. So go check them out. Unbound Velo UVcarbon wheels, fully sick. It's so light, it's so pretty. Branding's really minimal. You can just see the logo. Yow!